We often view our cats as fuzzy companions designed for cuddling, but evolutionary biology tells a different story. To a cat, a human hand is a massive and unpredictable force. While we see petting as a sign of love, a cat's nervous system may interpret it as a predatory restraint or a violation of territorial scent markers. This petting-induced aggression is not a behavioral flaw. It is a neurological response to overstimulation in specific and high sensitivity zones. Understanding where these no-go areas are located is the difference between a cat that merely tolerates you and a cat that truly trusts you. 1. The belly. The feline abdomen is the most physically vulnerable part of their anatomy, housing all vital organs without the protection of a ribcage. When a cat rolls over and shows you its belly, humans often misinterpret this as an invitation to rub. However, research from the University of Lincoln suggests that this posture is more likely a distance-increasing signal or a display of ultimate trust, not a request for physical contact. In the wild, exposing the belly is a defensive last resort because it allows a cat to use all 4 sets of claws and its teeth against a predator. When you touch the belly, you trigger the Moro reflex, or a primitive survival startle. The hair follicles on the underside are sparser, and the skin is thinner, making the tactile input feel incredibly sharp and intrusive. A study published in Applied Animal Behavior Science found that petting the belly was the fastest way to escalate a cat's stress hormones like cortisol. The primordial pouch, the saggy skin on a cat's belly, is an evolutionary layer designed for flexibility and protection, but it is also highly sensitive to pressure. Even a gentle human hand can trigger an ancient and subconscious fear response. Ethologists have observed that when a cat's belly is touched, the brain's fight-or-flight center, the amygdala, lights up instantly. This is why a cat might go from purring to bunny kicking your arm in a split second. They are experiencing a neurological short circuit where their survival instincts override their domestic training. The skin here is rich in mechanoreceptors that are far more sensitive than those on the head or neck. While a scratch behind the ears feels like a massage, a rub on the belly can feel like an electric shock to their nervous system. 2. Base of the tail. Many owners notice their cats lifting their hindquarters when petted near the base of the tail, leading to the elevator butt phenomenon. While some cats seem to enjoy this, it is an extremely high-risk area for overstimulation. This region is dense with scent glands known as sebaceous glands and a massive concentration of nerve endings. According to veterinary researchers at the University of California, Davis, this area is neurologically linked to the reproductive system and territorial marking. Touching this spot can cause sensory overload syndrome. Because the nerves here are so reactive, the pleasure can turn into physical pain in a matter of seconds. The biological term for this is allodynia, a condition where a stimulus that shouldn't be painful becomes highly distressing. When you pet a cat repeatedly at the base of the tail, the neurons continue to fire long after the hand has moved away. This creates a summation effect, where the brain cannot process the sheer volume of sensory data. Observations in shelter environments have shown that repetitive stroking at the tail base leads to displacement behaviors like sudden grooming, skin twitching, or the tail flick, which are clear indicators of autonomic nervous system arousal. If you see the skin on their back rippling, a condition known as feline hyperesthesia, you have crossed the line from affection to neurological irritation. This area is also a social junction. In the wild, cats sniff each other's rear ends to gather chemical data. When a human hand occupies this space, it creates a conflicting signal. The cat feels a mix of social bonding and territorial intrusion. Research in the Journal of Veterinary Behavior suggests that cats who are frequently petted in this area without breaks show higher baseline levels of anxiety. The elevator butt isn't always a yes. Sometimes it's a reflex trying to move the scent glands closer to the stimulus to deal with it faster, rather than enjoying the touch. 3. Paws and legs. A cat's paws are not just for walking. They are sophisticated sensory organs. The pads are packed with Pacinian corpuscles, which are sensitive to minute vibrations in the ground. Research conducted by Dr. Sarah Ellis, a renowned feline behavior specialist, highlights that cats are predator-prey animals, meaning they are constantly scanning for escape routes. Restricting or touching their paws is perceived as a threat to their mobility. When you hold a cat's paw, you are effectively grounding their escape mechanism, The University of Edinburgh's studies on feline personality scores indicate that cats who have their limbs handled frequently without a positive reinforcement framework show higher levels of irritability and lower agreeableness scores. The tension in the legs is a direct reflection of their fight or flight readiness. To a cat, a hand on the paw feels like a trap, triggering a pulse of adrenaline that overrides the social bonding of the moment. Furthermore, the interdigital space between the toes contains scent glands that secrete alarm pheromones when the cat is stressed. By touching the paws, you might be inadvertently spreading their own fear scent back onto their fur, creating a feedback loop of anxiety. Physiologically, the nerves in the legs are designed to detect the subtle movements of prey and the texture of the terrain. They are tuned for high-frequency data, not the low frequency and heavy pressure of a human grip. This is why most cats will pull their paw away immediately if you try to hold it. It's a violation of their personal autonomy and their ability to protect themselves. In professional veterinary settings, low-stress handling protocols specifically advise against touching the paws unless absolutely necessary, as it is the #1 trigger for defensive biting in domestic felines. 4. Back and sides. While the head and neck are generally green zones due to the scent glands used for social bonding, the lower back and flanks are much more sensitive to follicle stress. Cats have a unique type of hair follicle called tylotrich hairs, which are specialized for detecting touch and air movement. In a study published in the Journal of Feline Medicine and Surgery, researchers noted that repetitive stroking along the flanks can cause a buildup of static electricity and physical discomfort in the hair shaft itself. This area is also where cats are most likely to experience referred pain from undiagnosed joint issues or spinal sensitivity. For many indoor cats, the flanks are a private space. Unlike the chin, which they actively rub against objects to mark their scent, the lower back is a passive area. Forcing contact here often leads to nipping, which is the cat's only way to communicate that the tactile input has become white noise or electrical discomfort to their skin. Biologically, the skin on the back is designed to be tough to protect against the environment, but the underlying nervous system is incredibly loud. When you pet a cat from head to tail in one long motion, you are dragging a wave of sensory input across 3 different neurological zones. By the time your hand reaches the mid-back, the cat's brain is often already full. This is why many cats will suddenly turn and swat at a hand that was just petting them nicely. It's called thresholding. Every cat has a different threshold for how much tactile data they can take before it becomes painful. The sides of the cat are also where they feel the most trapped. If a hand is on their side and a wall is on the other, the cat feels physically pinned, which triggers a minor claustrophobic response rooted in their evolution as solitary hunters who need constant 360-degree awareness. 5. The tail. The tail is an extension of the spine and is one of the most complex communicative tools in the animal kingdom. It is filled with small bones, nerves, and muscles that control balance and social signaling. Behavioral studies from Oregon State University's Human-Animal Interaction Lab demonstrate that the tail is often the first part of the body to show signs of conflict. Touching or pulling the tail is not just annoying. It is a violation of the cat's primary means of expression. Because the tail is so vital for the righting reflex, which is the ability to land on their feet, cats are evolutionarily programmed to protect it fiercely. Physical contact with the tail interferes with the cat's vestibular system, which is their internal sense of balance. When a human grabs or strokes the tail, it sends noise to the brain that masks the cat's own sensory feedback. It is the equivalent of someone grabbing your tongue while you are trying to speak. It is frustrating, disorienting, and fundamentally disrespectful to their autonomy. The tail is also the primary indicator of a cat's emotional state. A twitching tail is a sign of high arousal or impending aggression. If you touch a tail that is already twitching, you are essentially poking the bear. Anatomically, the nerves at the end of the tail are some of the most exposed in the body. There is very little muscle or fat to cushion the nerves, meaning every touch is felt with maximum intensity. This is why even a light tug can be agonizing for a cat. Furthermore, the cauda equina, the bundle of nerve roots at the base of the spine, can be damaged by improper handling of the tail, leading to permanent issues with balance and waste elimination. Respecting the tail is not just about etiquette. It's about protecting the cat's structural integrity and its ability to communicate with the world. The secret to a deep bond with your cat isn't more petting, it's smarter petting. By respecting these 5 red zones, you transition from a person who uses the cat for affection to a partner who understands their biological boundaries. Watch for the dilated pupils, the twitching skin, and the flattening ears, because these are the silent screams of a cat in tactile distress. If you found these insights into the feline mind valuable, and you want to unlock more insider secrets that 99% of owners miss, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Join our community as we continue to uncover the hidden truths of the world around us. Hit the bell icon so you never miss a deep dive into the science of the everyday.